go back to our textbook. So we are consider multiple stage vector quantization. So multiple stage vector quantization we already talking about the last lecture. So right now they try to do some comparison performance analysis. So right now they consider in the beginning they using some filter speech. So they are trying to do the testing and also consider voice region to do implementation. So right now night spectrum frequency here, so they are using 20 milliseconds, is around 160 sample. So their Hamming window is a bigger one frame, so around the 200 sample the Hamming window. So the bandwidth expansion, so they will be like this one. So total there will be 50,000 night spectrum frequency generated. So they are based on 50,000 speech frame to do the night spectrum frequency. So they analysis their performance. So first one, they from the corpus structure to do the comparison. One is what we're talking about the split vector quantization. Another one is a multiple stage vector quantization. So you can see here, they're also talking about sequential search, full search, or tree search. So you can see N would be from 2 to 32. So it's a full search. You try to make a good use of whole combination to do the search. Another one, tree search, we call the M-best. Try to remember last week while we talking about the M-best search for multiple stage vector quantization. So last week while we talking about what's the M-best, this one. So they try to, because we are multiple stage corpus structure. So for each stage, maybe just pick out one, and second one pick out. So each stage you pick out one best match. So this one is sequential. M-best is for each corpus, each stage, multiple stage. Each stage you pick out the two winner. And later on, based on two winner, so you try to find the second best match. Try to find the two best. So you can see, we can get the best match. Each stage will get a two, and finally compare these two paths. Which one has the best performance? So full search will be try to. This one can be mapping whole combination, so we will be consider multiple stage together, so the complexity will be higher. However, the performance should be better, but you have to pay a lot of computation power. So right now they try to using different search mechanism, and also they are try to using weighted mean square error and average spectrum distortion. Try to see what's the distortion you have, and also consider outlier, the number of outlier. So multiple stage we are talking about here 24 bit here. So it's 12 by 12. So you can see they are equal partition. And split vector quantization, they are partition the vector become the subvector. So is each subvector the corpus using the 12 bit, or you partition to 3 subvector. Each subvector will be using the AB here. So you can see, because we are using night spectrum frequency 10 coefficient, so they will be partitioned 5, 5, 3, 3, 4 like this one. So you can see we are number of stage. What's the number of stages depend on how many stages you are partitioned. What's the number of stage? 1 is because our night spectrum coefficient is A1, A2, like A10. So split vector quantization, try to partition many subvector. So this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is a partition 2 subvector. Is 2 is a partition 2 subvector. And 3 is a partition 3 subvector, depend on different partition. From multiple stage, if you are consider multiple stage vector quantization, they are consider we are how many stage quantization. So each stage will be considered the whole vector. So this one will be 10 vector. This one will be 10, 10, 10, 10. So depend on how many stage you are using. So like a 2 and 4, 2 to 5, depend on 2 stage, finish multiple stage, or 3 stage, multiple, finish your multiple stage, or 4 stage and 5 stage. So if for each stage we try to make sure the fair comparison, total overhead, we are trying to coding night spectrum frequency, we are using 24-bit. So you can see this table, they try to, if you are 2 stage, so for each stage code book they're using the 12-bit. Our vectors are split to 2 subvector, so they are each subvector, their code book size also 12-bit and 12-bit. So they try to using same fair condition to do the comparison. So here is a multiple stage 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can see this one weighted mean square error. So we try to get a minimal one. So you can see multiple stage vector quantization can get the good performance. And also from the spectrum distortion, the distortion lower indicate the performance better. So you can see if we are trying to get a better performance, so you can see multiple stage you can get a good performance here. And also we are consider outlier, so you can see multiple stages, the outlier percentage become lower. So if you are consider tree search, because we are multiple stage, for each stage we are not consider just one winner. We consider 2 winner. This one consider 2 winner, consider 4 winner, or 8 winner. So you can see well, up to the A16, each stage we try to find more than 8, more than 16. So the performance is almost saturation. So we did not using the full search. Full search will be take too much, a lot of the computation time. So you can see because we are multiple stage. So for each stage we try to find like this one TSA. It indicate in each stage you are search. You are trying to find a best match. So you can see for each stage you find more best match sequentially, so that one can get a good performance. So also outlier, you can see also decrease with your search more best match data. So you can see that this way. So you can see this from the figure. So outlier, so you can see M-best range from 2 to 32. Due to the high complexity for the full search, is impossible to do the full search. So the result also you can see tree search n equal to 32, almost similar to the full search performance. So you can see 32 almost the same with the full search, close to the full search. Okay, another one, so they are search strategy. For one code book, for example, you partition three stage. So you can see the complexity. You can see full search complexity so high. So because they partition search stage, so it's 777. So it look like for each, what's the 77? This one using the 7 bit. So it look like it's like a 2 power 7, 128. So for each stage we have a 3 stage. So 3 stage, for each stage we have a 128 covector. So we try to find first stage codebook here. So the multiple stages, you can see first codebook 1. So you get index 1, and then so this one is a differential data, differential vector. So you have a codebook 2. So you have an index 2, and also codebook 3. So you have a codebook 3. So you can see this one, your index 3, and also this one also differential vector, and this one is also second order differential, differential data, differential vector. So for this one, so right now, so you can see this one is your codebook, what you have. So in here is 7 bit, so it's a 2 power 7 covector. So you can use in this one is 7 bit, index 7 bit here. So for each stage, for this stage we have a 128 covector. So we try to do the best match. One is N2, try to pick out the 2, the best match. So for this one also pick up 2 for n equal to 2. So if n equal to 4, for this stage we'll pick up the 4 winner. Based on the 4 winner, to next stage try to find a match, and among them the combination that can be best match, the winner, 4 winner, and later on we'll try to find which 4 winner among these 4, which one is the best one. So is n. So this one is we call the n best. So you can see here while we have the search strategy. So you look like your strategy become the 32. So you can see codebook trend with sequential search, codebook retrend with the tree search. So you can see the performance become the better. So they try to, because the codebook sequential training all after with the tree search optimized. So you can see the codebook become the better. We try to consider the weighting. So this one, because the best spectrum distortion, if we have some weighting, so we can make our performance better. So the reason is I have to go back in the beginning, because we have a speech waveform. We come to the frequency domain. They have like this one. So we know LPC is a model. So LPC is try to model. LPC will be model the envelope shape. So your frequency spectrum envelope shape. So according to this idea, because you can see double check your, because this one up to the 4 kilohertz. According to your night spectrum frequency, so we have a different weighting value. So if your night spectrum frequency come out here, or come out here, so maybe it's not clear. So if night spectrum frequency, you have a like a 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you have night spectrum frequency like this one, so there will be give the weighting value, high weighting value here, and high weighting value here, and high weighting value here. Why? Because we try to keep low distortion. We try to keep low distortion. We try to keep the low distortion for the night spectrum frequency coefficient related to the envelope peak. What's your peak point? We try to do like this way. So because LPC, we generate night spectrum frequency, and then the physical meaning night spectrum frequency try to model your envelope shape. Your envelope shape are more meaningful. We try to find the peak point because we are opal model. Opal model try to keep your peak point, and also peak point is related to your foreman. We call this one is a foreman. So we try to make sure we can keep the foreman, this night spectrum coefficient, low distortion. So we have to give them high weighting value during your during you calculate distortion. Try to search your vector match. So you'll be trying to bias some vector, do the good match for this peak point, and then so that one the covector will be selected. So this one in the past we talking about, we have five different weighting value. So you can see for different weighting, this weighting value, so you can see the 39 is average distortion. The 39 is for all-nighter. So you can see well, around W5 the weighting value is a good delay method, sometimes give the good performance. So you can see right now, if you are trying to do some weighting value, so good delay could be get a good result. So you can see here the result shown in figure 5.14, only the spectrum distortion and number all-nighter is shown. So you can see this figure. So better result can be using like a poly-auto method, some better result, but the best of all the group delay method. So group delay method will be shown the best. So main advantage of group delay method is in reduction the number of all-nighter to dB from 3% to the 1.8%, and also average spectrum distortion also is good, similar. So spectrum distortion could be W4 would be lower, but all-nighter become the lower would be the preferred. So most of them we do not like all-nighter. So try to remember what we talking about the good weighting value in the beginning, like this one. So we talking about a five delay method, 5 weighting method. One we talking about the cost function, So we are trying to calculate the cost function. So we try to calculate the cost function. We talking about many weighting value. What's the weighting value here? So you try to highlight high weighting value. If you are nice spectrum frequency coefficient occurring like your envelope peak point, so the weighting value become higher here. So this one group delay is like this one, or like this mark here. So you could be like this one and this one. So in the beginning, so there will be like this one, and this one. So you can trace what's the weighting value. It looks like a good delay, give the good performance. Okay. So nice spectrum prediction, what we're talking about here, we are trying to interference coding. So another issue we are consider interference. Why? Because in the beginning we are talking about the nice spectrum frequency. They have an interference and interference correlation. Did you remember? So our nice spectrum frequency, they have an interference and interference correlation. So the interference is look like this one is from one speech frame, one frame, and next neighboring frame. So you generate the coefficient, nice spectrum coefficient. So you can see they have some relationship. So they have some correlation. So this one we call the interference relationship. So what's the compression? Compression try to remove. What's your compression? Compression, the main idea, your compression main idea try to remove redundancy. So try to remove some redundancy. Try to find some they have some rule, some rule inside there. We can use in that rule make your data more compact. So we try to remove redundancy. So because right now while we're using the spectrum, while we're using the split vector quantization and multiple stage vector quantization, we are consider just one vector. Right now we are consider it's possible we are do the interference coding. So right now maybe we can consider interference coding. So you can see here if we are coming Fn, we subtracted the prediction vector. So the prediction vector, so you can see here, this one is our residual, the difference, residual nice spectrum frequency. This one is our coming nice spectrum coefficient, This one is a vector, one vector including 10 elements, and minus your prediction. This one is your prediction. This one is a prediction one. And how to do the prediction vector? Prediction vector according prediction vector should be according your decoding signal. So your decoding signal, because this one will be do the quantize. So quantize and dequantize. So quantize after quantization and plus dequantization, so they will become R and half. So in decoder side, what you can get, decoder side get like this one. And also you consider your prediction because during encoding your prediction. So this one is your recover data. So during the decoder, this decoder, what decoder you have, because you are quantize your residual night spectrum frequency, and then during the decoder what you get is not a perfect match, because we are get the quantized residual vector plus prediction vector and get a decoding. This one get a decoding vector. So what's your prediction vector? So this one is your prediction vector. So you can see your prediction vector will be like a R of n, Fn. So you have to pass on decoder what you have. So it's k minus 1. So here the k minus 1 is like we are consider previous decoding frame. So this one k is indicate your time sequence. So you can see here what we have. Maybe I can use different way. So you can see we are coming here is f of m, you know, and then they try to do the prediction. Summation here. So this one is your input. So you get R of n. So during the quantization, and you send the index to the decoder, and decoder side will be inverse. You'll be get Rn half, right? So this one could be, say, you can get this one is your decoder side, this one is your encoder side. So however, during the encoder side will be also consider decoder side. So you can see Q inverse here. You'll be get a Rn half. And also you try to do the prediction. So this one will be summation with what you have. Summation. So you have to generate like this one. Summation your prediction. Rn half will be summation your Rn. So this one is your prediction. So prediction based on recorder. So this one is your plus your you have multiply one coefficient like R of n, and also you have a Fn half k minus 1. So who get a k minus 1? So you have to think about where it come from. During your decoder, you come in input vector, you try to do the prediction, and get a residual night spectrum frequency. You do the quantization, and the quantization try to simulate decoder what you can get. You get this one, you have to summation like here what you have to summation like this one. So this one is your Fn. Try to get your Fn. Y is your prediction. Sometimes they have prediction. You try to this one prediction here. Get a multiply this one. This one is your prediction. Prediction here. So you can see your prediction multiply your residual, so become decoding signal. So this one is your decoding signal. Decoding signal. So okay, so I confused, sorry about that. So this one should be after, not here. So this one is from your decoding signal. So this one decoding signal, we have to multiply your alpha n. So you have to become fn half k minus 1, fn k minus 1 multiplied by alpha n. This one is your k. This one is coming k and coming k here and coming k here and coming k here. Okay, so you have to do the prediction here. So this one is your residual signal, and try to summation your prediction. Which prediction? Try to previous prediction. You try to add which one? F k plus minus 1 n. So we are based on previous frame recover, do the prediction. After that prediction, multiply current residue, so we can recover like this one. Recover like this one multiplied by alpha n become the prediction next one. So this one you can see right now what we get is a residual signal, and then based on previous prediction. So this one previous prediction here. So they have a time step issue. Should based on previous one. So this one is f of n k. F of n k minus 1. Okay, so you can see encoder. I try to figure out the encoder here. So your current input is a time index k. So I try to make sure you can see the whole. This one is the current time step f of n, and try to do the prediction. This one is based on previous. Based on the previous, you do the decoder. This one is decoder what you have, and then multiply a ratio, could be 0.8 or 0.9, and then do the prediction and subtraction, get the residue. So before that, what you have, this one is current, this one will be previous one. So this one according, this one with decoding previous what we get, and because this one is from your residue, will be summation your previous decoder what you get k minus 1, and then this one, so you'll be summation them together and become decoder. So this one will be stored later on. You have a register, so they will be come back for next step. So in decoder side they have to do the similar like this way. So because we have encoder have to be encoder, our encoder include decoder, because they try to make sure they are synchronized, they are synced together, they are synchronized together. So you can see our current input vectors will be subtracted by your prediction vector, become the residual night spectrum pair. So this one become the index. Decoder will be get index. So this index, So this part is more like a decoder. This part is more like a decoder. So you can see we are trying to dequantize. And also we try to get the previous what we recover back, decoder what we recover back the data. So this one recover back is not, we try to recover the subtraction data. Subtraction data, this one is the previous one, plus this one, right? The previous frame, previous frame, we get this one, and 80 summation with your prediction one become the decoding one, decoder what you have, multiply coefficient become the current time step, become the k time step to do the subtraction. So you can see here this k, so there will be summation, do the summation here, summation their prediction, so there will be summation back here, and k become the next data. This one becomes your recover back nk. So this one, there will be have a register file. Later on they will be using this one become the f of k. So they will be multiplied by your r of n, become next one to do the summation. So this one, so right now current prediction is based on previous your current subtraction is based on the previous decoding night spectrum frequency coefficient, and multiply will be multiplied by r of n. So the main idea you try to do the prediction is based, current frame is k. The prediction is based on previous decoder, what you get, previous decoder recover back night spectrum frequency, multiply one coefficient to become a decoding. So after later on you are also do the decoder try to recover residue and try to add them back to become the next k. So for k plus 1, later on for k plus 1 input data. So the main idea they try to using encoding is a night spectrum, is not a night spectrum frequency. They try to encoding residue night spectrum frequency coefficient. So how to do the prediction? Because we have to synchronize with your encoder. So they have to include in the encoder, consider encoder what the encoder can get. Based on recover, this one is your recover decoding night spectrum frequency. We multiply by your coefficient become next one prediction coefficient, next one prediction vector have to summation k plus 1. So this one go back k here and multiply rn become k plus 1. So this one for k plus 1, and then become the f of n have k plus 1. So k plus 1 come back multiply by coefficient and go back for k plus 1 and k plus 2. So this one, if here go down here, so this one previous one is fn have k minus 1. So pi 9 after they go in, so right now what you have is k plus 1 multiplied by r of n become this one. Okay, got it? So sometimes they have some time k index here, so a little bit confused. The main idea they are based on decoder where you can decode the night spectrum frequency coefficient. That coefficient multiplied by 1 because they have an interframe relationship. So we multiply by 0.8. This one alpha could be 0.8, 0.7, like this kind of coefficient. So we are subtracted by right now next night spectrum vector, and then we get a residue. So we are only encoding residual signal. During decoder, you have to add back about your prediction. But this kind of idea, they have some problem because they are based on decoded signal. If you have some noise in channel in your communication channel, so index make it wrong. So later on, there will be have an error propagation. You recover propagation. So you have an error propagation. So this issue, however, they can make a good use of interference relationship to make the coding efficiency higher. But however, they have some issues there. They will have an error propagation. So you can see the textbook here. If a channel error occurs, corrupt the bit stream for one frame, just one frame night spectrum frequency. So the decoding night spectrum frequency will be corrupted, and decoding erroneous night spectrum frequency will be used for the prediction, because you are decoding night spectrum frequency have error. So there will be next frame will be also corrupted, will be distorted. So you can see the error will be propagated indefinitely. So there will be a go around, so go again. So error propagated again. So another one, previous one we call what they're coding here. They code this master. Is this one common apply. So it's interference correlation. So that's why what they code. So they code this one is differential quantizer. It's DQ. This one they code DQ, differential quantizer. Another one, they try to avoid the error propagation. So they code a moving average. So they code NA, moving average. So they code a moving average. One is differential quantizer. Another one, they code a moving average. They code NA here. So they only consider the first order NA predictor. So you can see they are not based on, their prediction is not based on recover night spectrum frequency. Their prediction is based on like this one. So their prediction is based on this one. It's not based on, you have to summation together. So if this one error, so the prediction just affect next frame. So next one will become next frame, because our prediction error only that frame become error. So it's not based on total recover back, total decoding signal. They're based on the only the residual signal error. So that one will be make sure you do not have error propagation. So however, because your prediction is based on the residual signal, so the interconnection correlation become lower, a little bit lower. It's not like a recover night spectrum frequency, because we're talking about the night spectrum frequencies. They have a high correlativity for neighboring night spectrum vector, but right now your prediction is based on residual vector. But the residual vector, the correlation are a little bit lower than night spectrum, decoding night spectrum frequency. So you can see their prediction is based on residual vector. So residual vector just based on the previous one. So recover. So you can see they are just based on one. So later on, maybe this one have an error. So this one you can get an error here. But the next one R of n, R of nk later on will become the best. So there's no error propagation for average moving average method. So they try to show you these two methods because one is based on prediction gain. They design prediction gain. They say, well, which coefficient? They're talking about alpha n. They're talking about alpha n here. So they try to figure out which alpha n can get a better performance. Sorry. So you can see if we are using a moving average, so the best coefficient alpha n is around 0.67. So you can see figure here. If we are using the differential quantizer, because they are more highly correlated, so the coefficient interframe have a highly correlated, so the alpha of n will be higher. So you can see for DQ, so DQ will be preferred like a 0.8, and if you are using a moving average, so they only have 0.7. So you can see because we are trying to do the prediction based on one is a residual night spectrum frequency, the quantized residual night spectrum frequency, the correlation will be lower. If we are based on decoding night spectrum pair differential quantizer, the correlation of n can be better, can be higher because they are high correlated. Another one is a prediction order. So if you are consider more data to do the prediction, so sometimes can get a better performance. It's not just consider. Right now we just consider one vector. Maybe we can consider R of n, k minus 2, R of n, k minus 3, R of n, k minus 4, and then using the linear we have a Rn, so we have a Rn minus 1, Rn minus 2, Rn minus 3. So we have a 3, we have a 4 coefficient. Consider previous residual vector, decode the residual vector. So if we are consider not just one order, we are consider your previous more subvector to do the linear combination. So you can see prediction can become the higher. So if we are using the more vector to do the prediction, so your performance will become the better. Another one, prediction factor estimation. So this one they try to use in the multiple stage. So first order is a chip, is like a 0.65 close to 0.7, but however that one just one first order. So if we are consider multiple stage vector quantization, so what will be happen here? So prediction order, so they will be become the lower. So that one, so they show you the prediction order. So multiple stage, we are, because right now we are previous what we talking about just one stage. So this quantization just one stage. What we show in here, what we talking about just one stage. But if we are consider multiple stage, so the prediction order will be a little bit different. So you can see show the best prediction first order moving average is a chip with the value around 0.65. So just consider one order. So assume the prediction factor will be give the best performance in the first order moving average quantizer. So however, we are consider like a multiple stage vector quantization. So what would be happen? So various first order have been trained for value, so you can consider they train different value, and also we are propose multiple stage vector quantization, they including 3 stage. So we each has been selected to quantize, so each one selected to quantize the residue and provide a good performance. The performance this quantizer, so you can see what's the prediction here. So prediction here, so right now is not a 0.65. The best prediction factor will be down to 0.4. So you can see a little bit down around 0.335. So the related is not a 0.65, it's around 0.4. So you can see here. So they try to say when we say the alpha is moving average using one stage, so this one could be 0.65. But if we are consider multiple stage vector quantization 3 stage, so the correlated, so for this one correlated become the lower, you're around the 0.3, between 0.3 0.4. So you can see their performance have the coefficient could be a little bit different. Another one we call the performance evaluation for moving average prediction. So right now we are try to using the moving average for our vector quantization for interframe. So if we are consider like a 3 stage, but using the 20-bit, total 20-bit, so first stage using the 7, 8, or 9 indicate right now your cobalt vector is 128, 256 covector, like this one. So you can see if we have an interframe prediction, one is interframe prediction, another one without with moving average prediction. So you can see with moving average prediction, the performance become the better. So what's the contribution here? If we are trying to say this one is solid line, one is no prediction, no interframe prediction, another one with interframe prediction, so they can be contribute almost 3 bit efficiency. So you can see if we using the interframe prediction, we can using the 23 bit here. If you are no interframe prediction, you have to use in the 26 bit here, can get the same performance. So you can see interframe prediction can contribute almost more than 3 bit. So it's 3 bit advantage for all performance measures. So you can see your textbook here. So it's possible to achieve 10 to 15% in bit rate using the moving average prediction. So multiple stage vector quantization, so they sometimes they have to do more contribution. So on top of bit reduction, so using multiple stage vector quantization instead of a split vector quantization. So the only cause moving average prediction a slightly increased sensitivity to the channel error. But right now we are consider moving average. So they are error propagation just neighboring prediction, just depend on your how many order you are using the prediction. If you are using the first order, so right now if you have a channel error, just affect next sample. So next sample and 2 sample only. So that one is okay. So however, you can get a 3 bit efficiency. So also you can get a 10 to 15% improvement. Another one they called a different way. So this one could be next lecture will be talk. 今天所讲的主要的精神是在讲这个 performance 的比较。 那一刚开始呢，它是 multiple stage 跟 split， 就是多阶层跟把 vector 变成 subvector 来做比较。为了公平比较，那它假设分两个 multiple stage，vector 就分成2个 subvector。那 total 用的 bit 呢，大家都用的一样哈，bit 数都用一样。所以说你可以说这边12就是2的12次方，2的12次方，有2个 subvector 的 codebook。那这个是分2级，好，每一级都是2的12次方的 codebook， 每一个 codebook 都是10个 element。那他去分析完之后，你可以发觉 multiple stage vector quantization 呢，都比 split vector quantization 的效果好，啊，这是可以发现有这种现象。那另外一个呢，如果我把 multiple stage vector quantization 考虑到有那个什么 n best， 每一级不一定只有一个 winner， 每一级可能有2个 winner、4个 winner。当你有32个 winner 的时候，就等效于全部搜寻。所谓的全部搜寻，假设我有3个 stage， 每个 stage 有256个组合的话，2的8次方，全部搜寻是2的8次方乘上2的8次方乘上2的8次方是2的全部搜寻是2的24次方，哦，那就不得了了。那但是呢 ，performance 不需要做这么大复杂，它告诉你 n best 到32几乎就已经是 OK 的。那另外一个呢，他去看 n best 的时候，在 coding 的时候，他去看各种不同的。如果你用 sequential 先 sequential 做 codebook train， 用 sequential 的方式，最后 retrain 用 tree 的方式，实际上有 retreat 的 train 的方式 ，codebook 的效果会好啊。这个，然后其次也讨论了之前我们讲在算 distortion 的时候，我给它 weighting value， 那各种不同的 weighting value， 那发觉呢group delay 的 weighting value 效果最好。是某种程度 outlier 比较少，实际上以前的 weighting value 就是要去加强我的 night spectrum frequency 那个系数接近我的 envelope 的波峰的地方，那会被我加强。那前面所讲的都是 intra-frame， 那但是呢，我们曾经说过 night spectrum frequency 有 inter-frame 的 correlation， 那我们必须把如果能善用 inter-frame， 最笨的方法就是 ADPCN， 就是前后相减，因为这样的话我只要 coding 差值。第一个方法它是叫做 differential quantizer， 那它的预估呢，预估是根据你的还原讯号预估是根据你的 decoder 全部还原的 night spectrum frequency 来做预估前一笔资料来做预估，下一笔相减，那也就是前一个时刻预估。但是呢，这个问题就是当我在送到 channel R of n 如果有错的话，你还原这个信号就会拿来当成预估，预估又拿来减，产生的剩余信号就包含了 error， 那这个 error 呢又加上你的预估又变成 decoder 又有错误，这个错误又拿来做预估，所以说它会 error 一路 propagation。那另外一个呢是 moving average， 我的预估不用还原的 night spectrum 系数做还原，我的预估系数用你当下送的剩余的解码的 vector 来做还原，所以我的还原当这个错的时候，我只有现在的预估是错的，之后就是说当它不被拿来做预估的时候，你的剩余信号会慢慢就正确了，所以说你会发觉它只会影响2次，它现在它错误，那会影响到这个还原，那接下来它当成之前它 RK-1 收到的时候 ，RK-1 收到用前面正确的还原，因为它错 ，FNK-1 是错的，那之后呢，它当预估，那影响到下一笔 K， 那之后它就不扮演角色了，所以说它大概影响两个 sample。那如果我们去看 intercorrelation 的时候，你会发觉，如果 differential quantizer 呢，是因为用还原的 night spectrum frequency 相邻的 frame 的 correlation 比较高，所以说我的那个预估的系数 R of n 呢就可以比较大的值。那但是呢，我如果用的是 moving average， 是用剩余信号，它的预估值呢就不可能那么大。好，那因为它 correlation 降低了。好， 那另外一个呢，你不一定只用前面的一笔 vector 做预估，你可以用多笔 vector 做预估。那用多笔的前面的还原的剩余讯号剩余的 vector 去做预估，效果是有改善的哈。那其次的话，他在讲这种multiple stage， 当你用的前面讲的那个都是一个 stage 的 vector quantization， 当你是 multiple stage 的 vector quantization 的时候，发觉预估的系数好像有变小的现象啊。那但是你的 coding efficiency 是变好的。然后之后呢，他在做multiple stage， 如果我有用那个 moving average prediction 跟没有用，结果发觉它几乎可以省3个 bit， 就是说在同样的状况下，我没有 interframe prediction， 一路把位元数增加，看它的效果。当我有 interframe prediction 的时候，我的位元数也是增加，结果发觉在相同的 performance 横轴把 Y 轴切一个 Y 轴值下来，发觉大概可以省3个 bit 以上。那 coding 因为它大概20几个 bit， coding night spectrum frequency， 所以效率大概是可以增加10到15% coding efficiency， 这是它大概的精神。Okay, our first lecture will be stop here and will be take 15 minutes later. So around the 5 o'clock we'll be keep on our second lecture. Sorry about that today due to the other event. So we start our online lecture a little delay. So you have to pay attention to your homework too. So I will be double check with TA. So according their waveform, they have to highlight the microphone array configuration and also your sound source location. So we give you the ground truth testing sound source and make sure you know that one is good for you for your verify your program is right or not. And second one would be provide unknown. We did not give you the ground truth. You have to provide me the answer. So we'll be double check during your presentation. We'll be verify what you did. Okay, we stop here and talk to you around 5 o'clock. Around 5 o'clock. Okay, thank you.